what's going on here. Okay. What up, Nick?
But
I wonder if I need to change my angle of my camera. I
you
got it on
upside, you
horizontal.
sideways.
Huh?
It's showing you sideways.
Does it?
Mhm.
Let me change that. Cause I got it. Uh, well, I guess I'll just turn it this way. Okay, maybe that's better. Is that better? Cool. I'm gonna give people time to come in. I caught myself playing a little music. Someone about, oh, because I'm on my live on here. That's why. I'm wondering why I'm hearing. There we go. There you go. Okay, I gotta smash for a shout out. Okay, cool. Shout out to Hudson. Okay, what up, Hudson? Cool. What's going on, Nick?
Oh, nothing, man. Just vacationing and just taking a break. That's all.
That's what's up. Out of the
Thank you,
country, I'm
Hudson. We
sure.
appreciate you. Shout out to Hudson. We appreciate you. Thank you, Hudson.
Cool. That's dope. Oh man, this gonna be a good live. Be a good live.
You are him.
Who?
Wait, Hudson. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right. Who are you, Hudson? You say you subbed. Let's see. Let's see. Uh. Oh. Mm. All right. Nicole should be entering in soon.
That's dope, Hudson, man. That's what's up. I teach children, so I'm excited, man. I'm glad you're 11. I'm glad that you are here, man. I'm glad that you are present.
Think you froze, Nick. On my end, at least. All right, you back? Uh-oh. Got an educator checking in. Darrell. What's going on, Darrell? Let me see. Can you hear Nick? Hey, Nick. Can you hear good? There we go. Okay. I was making sure I was checking. Cool, cool. All right. Let me see how many people. Cool. All right, Hudson. I appreciate you. We're gonna be talking about some good educational topics. But this is really, it is an age limit on this podcast support. Yes, we are educators, and I appreciate you coming through. But we're gonna go ahead and give you a little break for now. And I see you 6'7". I get it. My students say the same thing. All right. But you actually could probably say there's gonna be some topics regarding all students. So um there's some good stuff you could probably hear. So we talking about education on this live, so you should be good. It's not nothing um out the way. So it's probably good. It'll be beneficial for you. Okay, I'm about to add. Uh-oh. I don't know what happened to appreciate it, Hudson. Thank you. You back, Nick? You out of the country, so you know. Okay. All right. So those who tuning in, let me tell you about myself. I am Denton Arnell. Some know me as Denton Arnell Harris in the educational system. I am currently a teacher in the classroom. So I'm teaching preschool through eighth grade currently, but I have been experienced as a dean of students in high school for the last maybe 6 years, 7 years. Um, so yeah, I've been working in education for a long time, close to maybe 15 years or more. Whether it was subbing or doing after school programs or just working in the actual building. So, but I appreciate you for tuning in every week, every Thursday at 9 p.m. We're gonna have different topics, have different guests come on, and it's gonna get intense. This first one is gonna be it's still a good topic, but every week look forward to even more great topics. We're gonna get into a lot of stuff, things that's relatable, motivational, inspirational, just things that some good takeaways that you will be able to get from these lives. I have some great people that I'm connected with that will be participating and giving some insight, which is awesome. So the theme for today, which is a big one, if you saw the flyer, the assassination of education. So I look forward to getting into this. We're gonna wait on Nicole to kind of drop in. She should be coming in soon. But in the meantime, we just want to introduce ourselves. So, Nick, introduce yourself. I don't think I can hear you yet.
Sound check. Can you hear me?
Sound check. Hear you.
You can hear me?
Yep. Is it low? Can you hear now? Go ahead. Hey, Angela Brown. Like, Brown, is that you? What up, Brown? Should have had you on here. We can definitely talk some good stories and being in the school building. All right, you back, Nick? All right, he having some technical difficulties. He on vacation, y'all. So I did kind of disturb him. He's on somebody's beach, but he'll be coming back. Let me just do some shout outs. Hey, how you doing? Taisha Williams, Palmer, what's going on? How you doing? Shout out to any educators on here. Anybody that work in the school, whatever you do, shout out. All right, all right. What's going on, Maz? Oh, we got the principals coming in. Come on, admin, administration. Let's go. Oh, that's awesome. Working in college admissions. That's great. That is awesome. Still on it. Just a new level. Let's go, college admissions. That's good. So I don't know where Nick at. All right, let's see. Okay, let me resend this link. How can I do this? Let me try to send Nicole this link real quick. All right, let me see. I see some other people on here. Come on, AP Hinton. They gotta give a shout out. AP Hinton. I see AP Bradley over here. Let's go. People are coming in. All right, let me send it over. Mm, Have to resend the link. Okay, from a 3-1. Okay, I'm coming back. Trying to get back on the screen. Technology is something else. Let's see. Trying to figure out how can I get back. Okay, I'm back, y'all. Trying to add everybody in. Somebody do a shout out if you can hear me good. Thumbs up or something. Okay, let's see. How can I? Go ahead, Marcus. Welcome. Thank you for the thumbs up. All right, so now I gotta get my two guests back in here. Tell them to do it again. Okay. Oh, that's green screen. All right, I'm waiting on this notification, so it's showing it in the waiting room somewhere. Hey, y'all, I see y'all coming in. There we go. Okay.
Hey, I think I'm on now.
Hey,
What's going on?
what's
Okay.
going on? Okay. I
Okay.
Think it's
think it's
echoing a little
echoing a
bit.
little bit.
Let me see. Is it a little better now?
Let me
Let me
see.
see.
I hear
I hear
myself.
myself.
Okay. It's not echoing on my end, but
Maybe it's
Maybe
coming
it's coming
from my
from my
speaker.
speaker.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Let's
Let's
see.
see.
All right,
All right,
you
you
are
are
we are
we are
live. I'm
live.
waiting
I'm waiting
on.
on.
Says you
Says you
added the
added the
next one, I
next one, I
guess.
guess.
Should be
Should
able
be able
to
to
add
add
more.
more.
Let's
Let's
see.
see.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
that's
okay,
why.
that's why.
All
All
right.
right.
So we're
So
gonna
we're gonna
do.
do.
All right,
All right,
Nicole.
Nicole.
Introduce
Introduce
yourself.
yourself. Um,
Who you
who you
are, what
are,
you
what you
do in the
do in the
educational
educational
system.
system.
So we're
So
gonna
we're
do
gonna
a.
do a.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
start with
start
you
with you
first,
first,
cause it
cause it
show on
show on
YouTube
YouTube
informational.
informational.
Chat
Chat
GPT
GPT.
said you only
Said
do
you only
one
do
guess
one
at a
guess at a
time, so we
time. So
can't
we
all
can't
mute
all
us. So
mute
I'm gonna
us.
have to
I'm gonna have
figure
to
that
figure
out.
that out.
All
Okay.
right,
All
but
right,
I can
but
at
I
least
can at least
start with
start
you,
with
and
you.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
add Nick
add
back.
Nick back.
All right. I am Nicole Ebony. I am a school social worker. I work with students from pre-K through high school. High school. Yeah, that's my role. That's what I do. So I pretty much help students with social emotional support, including behavioral. So yeah, that's my role. That's what I do.
Cool.
Cool.
I see
I see
people
people
saying I'm
saying I'm
echoing.
echoing.
So let
So
me
let
see
me
where this
see
is
where it's
coming
coming
from.
from.
They said I'm not loud. I need to be louder. Is that better? Okay.
Am I
Am
still
I still
echoing?
echoing?
Let's
Let's
see.
see.
I wonder
I
why I'm
wonder why I'm
echoing.
echoing.
I'm needed. Yeah.
Is my
Is my
voice
voice
coming
coming
from
from
your
your
computer
computer
speaker?
speaker?
Hey, Mr. Perry.
Let me
Let me
see.
see.
Is it
Is
still
it still
going?
going?
There'll be an
There'll be
echo.
an echo.
Let me try to
Trying to
start
start
it.
something.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
How's it
How's it
doing?
doing?
I do have some headphones in, so hold on a second.
I wonder
I
if I
wonder
need
if
to
I
get
need to
my
get my
headphones.
headphones.
Yeah, maybe that might work. I do have headphones actually.
Need to
Need
see if I
to
can get some
get some
headphones.
headphones.
Is this better, y'all? Can y'all hear me a little better? I don't know if that helped or not. He said mute of device.
I'm gonna try with some headphones.
Okay.
Oh, am I echoing still? I'm not echoing no more.
Okay.
Thumbs up if I'm not echoing anymore. Uh, so the problem.
These headphones.
So the real problem, technically, uh, it's okay though.
Okay.
But we back
We back.
now. You in the studio. But you have to hit you in the stool.
And the stool. That is what is given. Ooh.
Right. Oh.
Please don't give me the holler.
All right. So again, those are tuning in. The topic for today is the assassination of education, and
Mm-mm.
I thought it would be a great topic because that is something we are dealing with currently. Just with our generation, they're so lost. A lot of the curriculum have been watered down, and they're losing a lot of the skills and even just the intellect that we had to encounter in education growing up, and it's really messing them up. It's affecting their social skills, being able to work with each other, team building, and it's pretty bad. I feel like our educational system now is just so challenging with the budget cuts, the things that schools need, even just to keep students active. All the arts, those are things that still play into the development of a child, their creativity, their critical thinking, helping them to even use their brain. Um, so it's just crazy. Yeah, the people are speaking.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, so it's challenging. And we're just lacking a lot of good. I mean, even speaking of a lot of, it's not really too many good leaders out there. When you find some good leaders, it's like rare. It's like, oh my God, you'd be so shocked. Like, wow, y'all like
Mhm.
so supportive. So, shout out to the leadership at my school. Y'all
Okay,
dope.
period.
Shout out, shout out. Y'all know who you are. So I just want to just open up. What's the positive you notice just like in having an effective education? Like what when you think of effective education, what is that to you? Like what's an effective education like
um
in your perspective?
I feel like it's being able to not only like retain and receive information, it's more so being able to understand where other people come from as well. And just learning different cultures, like, being able to code switch in different settings, just those like standard basic things. So it's like obviously when we think education, we think academics, but just looking beyond that, just being able to greet others, you know what I'm saying, properly. Just being able to, again, like I said, receive information, whether it's some negative feedback and you be able to receive that well versus being at you crashing out and you know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So when it comes to education, I just think it's the way that you receive things and also like what you putting back out, just
Yeah,
based on the things that you've learned.
absolutely. So
Mhm.
if you think about this current educational system, how things are ran compared to how it was growing up, what are some highlights? What's the difference that you see just from
When I
your
was
own
in
experience?
school,
Yeah, like compared to now, like what are some things you received that kids are not getting now?
um I'm gonna be honest. I feel like there was more of an independence. Like I knew that I had homework that was due, so I did it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like nowadays you have to more so like check in. Hey, you got this due. Are you okay? It's a lot more support that they receive, and it's a
Mhm.
blessing. And I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying. That's a part of my job, like being able to support students. But I do feel like we were a lot more independent back then. I don't know if that had to do with what was instilled in us versus now. Um, but I know students do receive a lot more support. I think there was a lot more camaraderie amongst like the students back when I was in school versus now. Not that there wasn't drama. We had drama, we had stuff going on,
Mhm.
but I feel like we just had more community
Yeah,
back when I was in school.
yeah. I think during the time even when I was in school, there are things we learned that we're not even using to today, right?
Mhm.
I don't never use XYZ, X equals. I never have to pull it out, right?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
But I had to learn it, and when I think about it, the reason for it is training your brain. It's your intellect to problem solve.
Mhm.
It's teaching you how to figure stuff out. Even if you're not going to use that particular strategy, it's training your brain to know how to process
Mhm.
figuring out a problem. So like even something as simple as that, like things that they took out in the curriculum, and I'm hearing that some suburbs still do it, but most schools don't teach kids how to tell time. Like
Yeah.
um, students like, what time is it? And I'm like, look at the clock. They like, nah, where your phone? Like,
Mhm.
but when you think about telling time, that plays into
Mhm.
multiplication,
Mhm.
adding,
A little bit of
subtracting.
everything.
This
And
these are
the
yeah,
same with literacy. I feel like I remember learning how to read. We had the symbols for the short vowel, the long vowel. You know, kids nowadays it's more sight words. Like
yeah,
you see it, you remember it. You know, they just want the retention versus actually learning how to sound the word out. You know what I'm saying? Which is also important because you think of sound the words out, you get the root word. So now that's getting me the definition to that. And now so I feel like with us with learning, it was more like we built upon different skills. I feel like a lot of learning now is around like memory and
yeah,
retention as far as like just memorizing
yeah.
different things.
And it seemed like now everything, and I'm all about technology. I feel like
Mhm.
technology is what's running the world. Like
Mhm.
it's a good thing, but it's a crutch because now kids can't function without it. You can't
They
function without a
can't.
computer. You can't even vocalize what you feel
I'm
without
telling
it
you.
typing it out, or it has to be on
Mhm.
some type of device, which is causing them not to have good social skills. They can't sit
Yep.
next to each other. They can't be by each other. Oh, I don't like this person. They don't even know how to coexist.
Mhm.
When these are skills you need even as an adult in the workplace. You're not gonna like everybody, that you work
Absolutely.
with. But the fact that you having the skill to be able to work on a team, do your job effectively, despite how you
Mhm.
feel emotionally about a person or a situation, you still be able to maneuver. But they're lacking those skills. And um do you feel like it's enough parent support when it comes down to these challenges in education?
No, not really. And shout out to parents that do and that have the privilege. I'm gonna say that have the privilege to be able to, access the school when they want to and be able to come up to the school and participate. Because as a parent, I do understand how that can be difficult. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But as far as being like more on top of things that I do, just hey, checking in with a student, how was your day? Talking to students often is not a lot of support that's given at home just based on what's just
Yeah.
some of the feedback and just as my job, I have to reach out to parents. Like, when I'm doing different assessments and getting feedback from parents on how the student doing that here, how they performing here. A lot of the times, it's hard for a lot of parents to describe their child. I describe a child in 3 words. Sometimes that's a little difficult. Like,
Hmm.
sometimes it takes. I have to, and not all parents again, but I may have to like, oh, they are outspoken, so that's a positive trait where we can, so I think that because of the hustle and bustle and just the way the society is set up, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't really have the time to like bond and you know what I'm saying, have conversations that matter. A lot of the times it's get up, get ready, get going. I got to get to work. So, I feel like that's kind of what's missing. I feel like a lot of parents still need a lot of time to get to know their child and
Hmm.
vice versa.
Yeah.
Just a child seeing their parent outside of just being a parent, just getting to know them as a person. I think that part is missing. And then as far as like academics, being real, we got adults, like you said, it doesn't just stop in grade school. Like once you get to college and once we reach adulthood, there's still adults out here that aren't reading, like
Yeah.
they should be or being able to comprehend different passages or whatever, just the basics. So I think a lot of parents are just doing the best that they can.
Hmm.
I also do feel like it's parents that just need more support
Yeah.
with parenting and like knowing what to do. So, but overall, to answer your question, no, I don't. I feel like there is a lack. I feel like we can do better in
Yeah.
bridging that gap.
I like the fact of you mentioning getting to know your kid. 'Cause that's important. Um, we're used to the traditional way of just this what you're supposed to do. You just go to school, you do this, you do that. It's just this that routine, routine,
Mhm.
routine. You gotta be here at 8 o'clock, get out the car, you got your breakfast. That it's like
Right.
that. But then
Right.
you missing the from not knowing your kid, you lose out on knowing their struggles, knowing
Mhm.
that they have insecurities and reading in front of people.
Absolutely.
It's nothing personal, or they struggle with math and they may need a little more support at home. One thing
Mhm.
and I hated it, but I remember even growing up, my mom had hooked on phonics for me, and I hated it because I wanted to go home and watch Power Rangers. Like
Right.
that's what I want to do. And during that time, when I was young, stuff you had to wait till it come back on TV. It wasn't like we wasn't recording it, or it's gonna like you can rewind it like
Right.
stuff now. If you have to wait till next week, so I'm mad. I go back to school like, man, they like, did you see that? And I missed it because I was doing hooked on phonics, and then we going to the grocery store right after. So I'm with an attitude, but also it I appreciate those that support at home because that's what helped me maneuver in my school day and
Mhm.
be good in spelling bees and
Mhm.
um other different reading comprehension activities that I was able to kind of flourish in because of that additional support. But I also think, parents do need that support because they probably don't know how to maneuver at home. And it could be that we need more resources in the school to
Mhm.
help with these things, where kids kind of can have that safe space to just express like I struggle with this because a lot that actually comes in their behavior issues.
For sure.
They act out. So I'm
Mhm.
avoiding having to do this assignment because
Avoidance.
I really don't
Yep.
know how to do it and I'm embarrassed. So let me act the
Mhm.
fool. So you got to remove me out the classroom.
Right.
So now I'm in the principal's office and I'm cool. Really, I just don't
Mhm.
want to read in front of everybody. But it's like
Mhm.
those things are something that need to be known, and opposed to being a kid getting reprimanded. Really, when it's just a learning, um, not it's not necessarily a disability, but a learning.
A deficit, it's just
Yeah,
something that it's just something they need support with, something
yeah,
they need some help with. Instead of just automatically jumping to, oh, you just in school acting a fool, you
right,
just showing out, you know what I'm
right,
saying, like kind of getting to the root issue.
right.
And like you said, that just goes back to just understanding your child, knowing what they need support in, getting to know them. Okay, when I get anxious I do this, you know what I mean,
Hmm.
like just those different things, just
Yeah,
getting to know your student, just, oh, your child, I keep saying student, child, I use
yeah,
them interchangeably, but just getting to know them as a
for
person,
sure.
like we were saying.
Yeah, and that will help because then,
And right, she said a
yeah,
learning difference, not always a deficit. Absolutely,
just
depending on the
learning
student.
differences. That's
Mhm.
the key thing. I learn differently, and sometimes kids need to know it's okay
Mhm.
that you learn differently.
Mhm. But we do
Um,
got to keep it real. It is a deficit, y'all. It, I don't
yeah,
know, but I do
yeah,
understand what you're saying. Absolutely.
yeah. Let's look in this chat. It was a lot of things that was said that was pretty
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
So I had to scroll up. So it was some stuff that was stated about just budgets in different schools. Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So that, yeah, the demographic and that does
Mhm.
play into it.
Mhm.
Um, and then she was staying at her daughter's school. They use formative and summative assessments. They emphasize critical thinking, problem solving, and understanding the why behind concepts. So those are things that
Yep.
understanding the basic foundations of your reasoning of why you're learning this,
Yep.
because they need to know this. Like they want
Mhm.
to know why. It ain't just like you
Mhm.
just need to learn it. Why do you need to know algebra? Why do you need to know geometry? What is it
Mhm.
for? How would it benefit you later on? But it's really an intellect thing because
Mhm.
a lot of young people, adults too, but we talking about students, they
Mhm.
lack common sense. Things that
Mhm.
are just normal, like why would you think that's okay? Like,
Yeah.
or just doing some right in front of the teacher. Like when I grew up, the teacher ain't gonna catch me like 'cause I'm sneaking and doing it. They would do it right in front of you and be like, I didn't do it. And they'd be like,
Yep.
You know you ain't got like no magical
Yeah.
disappearing power. Like,
Mhm.
but
That's to go back to that cognitive, that independent thing. It's just, it's just not always as apparent. I'll say
yeah.
that. Um, but keep going, keep going.
I see let me see. Parents parent differently, they're looking for support, they're looking for the how, being culturally aware and relevant enough so that support doesn't look like judgment. Yes. Yeah. Let me see what is it? Common sense. What? No,
Mhm,
but yeah, common
mhm,
sense for real. Like things that are just like um foundational just knowledge they don't have. Like the
mhm,
basic character building like skills where you actually you don't talk to your peer this way. Actually, when you're talking to a teacher, this is an adult, like
Right.
basic,
Right,
like
understanding the
yeah,
difference. But again, a lot of that starts more so at home. You know what I'm
um,
saying? Like those environmental factors really play a big part in how students live out their lives day to day. And then in the future, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully they come across role models, like you were saying, come across people that can be a positive role model and show them the ways that they're supposed to be acting. And but influence plays a huge part, and they're just being influenced all the way around. Like we didn't have the
hmm
phones. You were talking about the differences between them and our education and their education. We didn't have a phone in our face 24/7. We didn't have somebody telling us how to feel. We didn't have somebody flooding our brains. I mean, to an extent,
yeah,
TV. You know, we had our social media, but not to the extent that it is. You know,
yeah.
it's not as big as it is now.
It's borderline raising the generation.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, they learn more about Ratchet TV, but
Baddies and
yeah, the baddies and all that. And granted, entertainment is TV. I understand it. Like
it has always been there, but I don't think it's been like as prevalent.
yeah, and
It's
accessible.
nonstop. Except
It,
it's nonstop.
yeah, and they take on the behaviors of what they see. So now you got certain songs, raising them.
Mhm.
So now they think we supposed to fight. Anytime somebody say they look at me wrong, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to turn up. Like, so you don't even have self control. You don't have patience. You lacking how to control your emotions. So those
Mhm.
are things that like just basic social skills, which kind of goes to like with you being working in social work with the kids.
Mhm.
What are some of the challenges you have when you have kids that you deal with kids that have like trauma that's outside of school and it's kind of leaking on to their just their day to day
Mm,
school day, and it's like and it kind of triggers that's constantly what's your challenges in that area?
I'm gonna be honest. I think the hardest part is having to deal with a student after we done had a talk. They done spoke on. They done gave me three ways they can change. They giving me ways to challenge their like emotions and what. It's when they go back home and come back to school. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't. The my biggest challenge is not being able to be there all the time, or being able
Hmm.
to be that voice of reason, or being able to like show them that example. Like, hey, let's do it like this. Like, hold on, wait, let's do it. Just do it this way.
Yeah.
Because like once they get home, it's just things that are already embedded in them just based on like what they've, like you said, the traumas that they've dealt with, just seeing how like just their household functions, and just seeing how auntie act, how cousin act, how to do down the street, you know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
those are things that I can't myself change, which creates a challenge for me when it's just me and them, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I'm trying to tear down and break down what they're used to, or get them different examples of like how things could go. And it's like, yeah, you telling me this, but I see this every day.
Yeah.
I see this day in and day out. So you just telling me this is not enough. So I think the biggest challenge is them like having the factors and everything that they're exposed to day, and just I think also be I wish they were just exposed to more. Like they had more access outside of what they see every day. You know, you got some kids that haven't been downtown, haven't been out of town,
Hmm.
haven't, you know what I'm saying? So just like being able to show them different with the little bit that I can do at school. I'm a school social worker. So from time the school starts to time the school end, that's all I got for you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So outside of that, I think that's my biggest challenge, like showing them something bigger outside of what they encounter day to day.
Yeah. Somebody actually was commenting, was saying like the system is failing children whose abuse has already been documented. Too often there are
Mhm.
records of warning signs or previous records, yet these children still do not receive needed support.
I agree. I agree. You know, we have systems put in place for us to reach out, like if students need support as far as like abuse, and you know, you can
Hmm.
make the calls, you can file like the reports, and at the end of the day, it's above me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said
Yeah.
before, like And it's not to knock anybody else or the different systems, like I said, but at the end of the day, um, I think it starts from the top. And like, when you get into them bureaucracies and how things for a lot of things are all about money versus like the wellness of the child or the well-being of the child. Um, I know that they have been trying to make changes as far as like with DCFS, like making sure a student is placed with another family member and things like that. But it's not an easy solution. It's not. It should be, but
Yeah.
because of how things are, it's not. So, like she was saying, I definitely agree with Taisha as far as talking about just how things can just continue to be a problem without giving a solution.
And someone actually mentioned above that, like our children are not protected. Um,
Mhm.
and I mean that's very, very true.
Mhm.
Because
They're the
at the
most
end of the day,
vulnerable
yeah,
population. Children are the
yeah.
most vulnerable population.
And I think what we kind of forget, and it's hard because when you think of kids, and it's not easy. Working with kids is not for everybody. You have to have a
It's
certain
not.
level of patience.
Mhm.
Um, but these are adolescents, so you're thinking about a brain that's still trying to develop that does not understand
Mhm.
an adult. So sometimes
Mhm.
as adults, working in education, even as teachers, and I've seen it and I probably experienced it when I first started, you take stuff personal when it's really not. It's not nothing
It's
personal
not.
towards you. It's their trauma, it's their upbringing, it's certain things that triggers them, and it's like you can't attack chaos with
Mhm.
chaos.
Mhm.
So the only way you can do that, like if somebody is here, you have to, hey, listen, like, look, no, I understand that,
Yeah.
different tactics to calm them down because that's all they know is
For sure.
here.
Mhm.
And we don't know what's
Right.
going on at home. So I think I look at it, if you already getting snapped on at home, you already getting fussed
Mhm.
at the most magnitude. I don't know what's being said. My approach as a teacher can't be the same. Or as somebody that
Right.
working with kids, it can't be the same. It has to be something different. Um, but again, it's nothing personal.
Mhm.
That's something we as educators have to learn. Don't take kids' behaviors personal and really try to see through what's happening, what they're doing. And it's not easy because you got kids that's disrespectful. They cussing, they say all type of
Mhm.
stuff, and you be like, you be
Mhm.
right, okay, can't.
Right.
Because at the end of the
You just
day,
gotta meet them the next day. Hey, how you doing? How's today gonna go? How we gonna handle it? What's going
right.
on? Yeah.
Cause
Every day
and
has to
sometimes you
be
gotta
different
laugh
though.
at it too. I'd be like, so why I need that? Why you cussing at me like that? Like, did I do something to you? And then, but one
Right.
thing about kids, they feel bad. When they hurt your feelings, they feel bad. Like, it's
But
so
a lot
crazy.
of the times it takes like you to put it in a perspective so they can kind of look back and be like, okay. But again, it goes to the critical thinking and just
Mhm.
conflict resolution. Okay, this person did something. She looking at me. She could have thought your hair was pretty. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? She could have been. You don't know what was going on, but you just jumped into conclusions. So let me
Hmm.
like wind it back. Hey, so let's start over. This happened. Have you thought about it from this person's point of view? You know what I mean? It's just quick. They upset. I want what
Impulse.
I want. Very impulsive. Very
Yeah.
impulsive. And that goes along with generation. Like everything is quick.
Yeah.
They don't have to really, work is hard. They don't have to be as paid. You can get on Instagram and speed through a video. We can't,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? We used to have to watch all the ads, commercials. We didn't
Right.
get a chance to skip. So I think that all just comes like it's embedded within their generation.
Absolutely. So the people that's logged on, I have a question for you. Um, and before I bring on Nick, because Nick is also my other guest as well. First of all, shout out to Nicole, y'all, for coming on today. But my
Thank
question for
you.
y'all that are tuned in, um, do you feel like we are preparing kids with these skills, these social skills, respect and good character, integrity? Do you feel as educators that we are actually doing that? and I want to see what people were saying. Oh, go ahead. He said, whoop, whoop.
Woo woo.
I like to have a student ever ask, "Why do you care?" Mm.
Not verbatim that, but yeah.
Their behavior gives that. Like, who are you? Like, okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. You doing too much. You shouldn't even.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm doing this because I care about you.
So I feel that most adults are raising children to be good children.
I agree. I agree. And a lot of that could be out of like safety, do what you're supposed to do what you're told, follow the rules, you know what I'm saying, versus being able to express yourself. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's just all in the matter in which they do it. But I do agree with that.
For sure.
That's a norm, societal norms thing.
Is there anything people that's tuned in? What do you think is holding the generation back from moving forward to be successful? What is holding them back?
I want to say themselves.
Mm,
It's only them holding them back. I feel like a lot of kids just need to know that they are special, important, smart. I don't think they really understand the value that they hold.
yeah.
Fear, yeah.
Fear, definitely.
Mhm.
Fear of being judged. A lot of these kids are trying to figure themselves out,
Mhm.
and when you're dealing with a society and just even just an environment that's always just chaotic, where you scared to even shine because of you don't know how people going to think of you. So then it kind of
Mhm.
spills over when you get to school. Now you antisocial. You don't speak to other people. You want to be by yourself. I only want to work by myself. I don't want to work with a group. I don't want like
Mhm.
when those skills and that identity or that individuality will be amazing in the classroom because it's needed because everybody is different and all these
Mhm.
different type of students and different creative mindsets coming together, whether it's a project that you matter in this project, like you bring us something to the table that this
Yep.
person didn't think of. But I
Mhm.
think if that was instilled also at home,
Yeah.
um
That confidence.
that confidence. But also,
Yeah.
I feel like I have seen educators in the classroom fail too, in how they approach kids. Um, how you talk to them.
Yep.
Saying that matters too. So it's not just all parents. It's some stuff. I've seen some um conflicts in the classroom where teachers would know a student has particular IEPs or accommodations or different things and would
Mhm.
just blatantly not do it.
Mhm.
So it's just a lot of different corruptness that needs to really be just gutted out in the
Mhm.
educational system. And then people that are working in education need to understand you can't work in education and you don't like kids. It just doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Go ahead and do something else, Auntie, Uncle. Like, come on, we got to do something else.
You
You
can't, that
have
don't
to have
work.
a
Working
love
in a
for the
school and you
kids.
do
You
not
have
like
to.
kids. Yeah,
You
that don't
have
make
to.
sense. But it's
You'll be glad
happening
if they said they didn't get on our nerves. They get on my nerves. You
all
know
the
what I'm
time.
saying? But you do have to be willing to stick it out with them. You do have to be willing to see the potential. You can't give up on them.
Right.
At least until the end of the school year. You back to your parents now, but at the end of the day, you still on my mind throughout the summer. It's students who, what I'm crossing my mind. Like I hope they doing okay. God cover me. But you know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
because I do care. Then I was seeing Mr. Hey, Griselda. I was saying Mr. Brown said exposure. Exposure is super big for me. I feel like students need to see people that look like them
Mm-hmm.
in different places, making different statuses, different jobs. Like they do need to see. That's very, very, very important to me for
Absolutely.
them to be able to see that. Resources for sure. We know that parents not speaking life into them for sure. Affirmations and lack of encouragement.
Yeah, these are some good, y'all saying some good stuff, y'all. Yeah, this is really good. But yeah, it's definitely I see that Maz, it is a calling to work in education. It's a calling to
It's
work with
hard.
kids.
It's not easy.
It ain't. And the thing is, one
No,
thing about a kid, they reset the next day.
they
They do
do.
something Wednesday, you'll still be mad. Like, yeah, they did
Mhm.
this, and then they come in like nothing happened.
Hey,
Hey,
how
want a hug
you
and like
doing?
I'm
Yep.
like, no. But that's one thing I joke about is I have on my page my first week working back in the classroom when I had third grade, and and it's funny video. So if y'all get a chance, go on my page and check it out. It's my first educational kind of comedy video, but just talking about how third grade gave me such a headache, but then came back. You right,
We
drawing me
missed
pictures.
you.
You my favorite teacher. What? I'm
Mhm.
confused. I thought you hated me based off your behavior yesterday,
Mhm.
but it's you just got to stick it out, and you can again it
Yeah.
goes back. You cannot take it personal. You when they reset, you got to reset because you got to give them an opportunity to get another chance to do it right the second time.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's a brand new day. What they did Wednesday, it's Thursday now, or what I mean, like
Yeah.
let them have that free space to move forward. And we be needing that as
Yeah.
adults too, because I mean I
For
think we be
sure.
so hard on kids, but we
Mhm.
need that too. You gotta give yourself
Mhm.
opportunity to reset. Having a hard
Yep.
day at work, chaos, working in education, or you dealing with kids, parents, colleagues, you have to do a reset. You come back the next day, okay, let me
Yep.
start over. But we all need that reset.
For
But
sure.
Nicole, you have been amazing.
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad you came aboard
Of
today.
course.
I'm gonna add Nick on soon. I got him waiting in the waiting room. I just texted him. So
Okay.
I ain't gonna say what country he in right now. I guess he probably incognito, but I'm just say he's out of the country
Right.
on
Ain't gonna tell
vacation.
all his
Look,
business.
he's somewhere where I would like to be.
Okay.
But yeah, so y'all please give a shout out to Nicole for coming on today. Please just give her
Hey
some encouragement, just
y'all.
some,
Love y'all.
but we about to bring on my second guest. All right. I will talk
All
to you,
right.
Nicole. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks for having me. Bye, y'all.
For sure, for sure. Oh, you
All
got a
right.
shout out the best social work ever. Let's go.
Period. Clocky.
Let
Yeah. Okay. Bye, y'all. Enjoy your night.
me see. Uh See, honestly, I don't have patience for adults. The adults are hard. I hope y'all enjoying this live. It's gonna get better every week. I got different topics we're gonna be doing, so it's gonna get real juicy. This is just the introduction, but it's gonna be some good topics we're gonna be talking about that's relatable to pretty much everybody and what's going on in just our lives and it's gonna be fun. You never know what you're gonna get on this live. You might be tuning into a performance or something. You just never know. So we're about to have a Nick come on board. I'm waiting on him to hit that link. Let me see. Let me see. See. Where he at? See if he see the link. Do, do, do. So far, I hope you all are enjoying yourselves. Um, what's going on? He should be coming on. Shout out. Oh, there you go. Nick,
Hey,
what's going on, man?
oh nothing. How y'all doing?
Good, good.
I've
All
been
right.
enjoying these comments in the chat and everything. So yeah, man, I definitely rock with a lot of what is being said. So just definitely a cool experience. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, of course. Introduce yourself. Those who just probably just tuned in and hear you earlier. But who are you, Nick? Who are you? What do you do?
I'm a, I'm a public educator. I have been in education now for over 15 years. I actually started as a SECA, a special education classroom assistant. I became a special education teacher. After that, I became a case manager, ELPT, where I worked with a population of students who were newcomers and multilingual learners. And then from there, I became an assistant principal. So I served on the west side for 4 years, and now I'm on the south side. And so, yeah, man, I've been in education again for 15 years, and I did not start this way. I studied undergrad, I studied business, and I
Mm.
happened to come out and started coaching a little bit on the South Side, coaching football. And when I started coaching football, I was like, this is my passion. And so found the job in education. I've been, majority of my career has been high school. The last 4 years, four and some change has been 4.5 years actually to be exact, has been grade school. So I've had the ability to see a very large number of students on the ends of the spectrum from pre-K all the way up to um, seniors, 12th graders.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, so with you working in the education system for so many years, when you think about just an effective education, what does that look like to you? Like, if you had just the ideal system, you can just revamp everything, and what would kids look forward to if you revamp the entire educational system? Something that, like, what's the positive impact that you think
Um,
you would want to see?
there are a myriad of things that I would love to see, but I will start with one thing that I think that is a major ingredient in all of this, and that's accountability. Accountability from every stakeholder, whether it is the administration in the school, whether it is the parents, whether it is the students, whether it is the community members, whether it's the LSCs. On every level, I think that a level of accountability lends us to everybody playing their part, right? And then when we talk about, like, as we were growing up, we'd always talked about it takes a village to raise a child. And I would hear stories of my mother say when she did something wrong, the neighbors was whooping her and sending her home and let the mama know I whooped your child, right? Like that idea and that aspect of community is missing. And so with accountability, right, not just having those conversations and saying, oh, like leaving it, but true accountability. Like how do we hold people accountable for what they're not doing or for what they could be doing? So I think, like I said, on this level of it, my mother raised me with the iron fist. I mean, I think a lot of ours did. I'm 39 now, and so there were certain things that I just wasn't getting away with. There were certain things that I
Hmm.
just was not doing. Right. My mother, held me accountable. Right. There was accountability at home. There was accountability, from a myriad of ways. And teachers, as some people have said, teachers were passionate, teachers taught, right? But yeah, I think that I would just lend to that word of is accountability. And then since I'll go here, since we're already here, the second
Hmm.
is reflection. Um, Many of us lack the ability to be reflective, and I see it, the lack of reflection in children. I see the lack of reflection from parents, right? I see
Hmm.
their lack of reflection from administration, from those powers that be, on the federal and on the state and on the city level, right? There is
Hmm.
just a lack of reflection, and many of us are not reflective enough to see ourselves, right, and see who we are. A lot of times, and I'm gonna say this, like this is something that I was gonna post today on my page. But one of the most important thoughts that I have is that, like, a lot of times we see students' behaviors, we see behaviors from all stakeholders, right? And we work hard to try to change these different behaviors, right? Whether it's what the principal doing, whether it's what the kids doing, what the teachers are doing. But we really don't. We're really not tuned into recognizing the identity of these individuals, right? And
Hmm.
so you can't change behaviors without changing identity. And so, it takes some, and in the midst of reflection, I can just say as a leader, right? As a leader, who you are, what your school will become, your culture and your climate is a reflection of who you are as a leader, right? If you are not together in the craziest ways, right? If you're not together, if you are not calm, if you there's no pulse on you, people around you feel it and experience that, and therefore all hell breaks loose in your building.
Hmm.
So again, I don't want to belabor the point, but most importantly, let's go back to the point that I started with: accountability,
Hmm.
reflection and identity. And I think that if we could really lend ourselves to those things, I think that we would take a chance to really look at how these policies affect children and how, all of these, like somebody said in the chat earlier, all these initiatives, it's 4 5 6 different things you got to do for your kid walking to class, right? You got to stand outside the door, but even in the class there's several different things you have to do to make sure that your student is learning these are the best practices, but are they really working? So yeah.
Hmm. That's good. Um, Based off your experience, name a time where you actually had really good parent support. Like you had a student, maybe they were struggling with something, but like a parent, you told them the circumstance, but they actually you felt supported by a parent. If you had that, have you had
So
that
let's
experience?
so I will speak. Have I had the experience, baby, every day? But um, specifically, I'll talk about this. Right, one of the most challenges to the African American community, right, and Black student success is that a lot of our families, which has kind of been like an age old thing, are afraid of intervention,
Mm,
right? Like their babies are terrorizing buildings, right? Or they are in spaces where their babies have some needs, and they have some needs, whether they're social, whether they're emotional, or whether they're educational. And the age old thing is that when Black parents come into the building, my baby ain't got nothing. My baby, and we can say, well, they not doing that at home, or they ain't nothing wrong with my baby. My baby can read, but your baby can read, but your baby ain't comprehending, right? And that's a whole different conversation for a whole nother day, right? But I've had parents who was like, Mr. Hinton, you've built a relationship with me. You've been consistent with me. You do what I ask of you, and you call me and you call my baby on their stuff, and as well as you call me when my baby doing good. So I'm gonna trust you with what you're doing and what you say. And so there have been times where I've had to make phone calls to where we've had to get that baby some support outside of the building, right?
mhm,
Because or even being a case manager in high school, like looking at students from a standpoint of academics and them not being able to keep up with the rest of the lessons, right? Or being able to perform in a certain manner, and recognizing some deficits, and not just
mhm,
deficits because of this academic deficit, but some deficits with their processing, right? With their ability to cognitively be a part of a conversation or cognitively perform. And so, parents doing the right thing by their children and saying, like, man, thank you. I need to do this. Like, I've had parents I was fighting for 2 years, and when they finally let their baby go to get the support they needed, they hugged me like, I'm sorry. I know, little Jimmy, he was teeing up.
mhm.
But like I said, there has been parents along the way who has taken a step to get their children the help that they needed, whether it was academically or whether it was socially.
That's good. And I think what kind of like to add on what you were saying, it just seems like you build a community, and I think that's important. Um, like you mentioned, all the stakeholders is involved. You have the admin, you have the parents, you have um, the staff, anybody, educators, the teachers, everybody. Everybody's the community that needs to come together. That's like this round circle where this kid is in the middle. It has to be a collaborative strategy in order for this to work. And it's good that the parent even feels supported, because even just I'm sure like a lot of parents, they struggle with having to acknowledge that their kid needs some help. And it's like someone stated in here, like, as a parent you should never be too embarrassed to get your child some support. So like removing the pride, the embarrassment, and just like, you know what, how we gonna work together to make sure my kid good, like how we gonna do this as a team, and building some type of plan that's going to help my kid be whole when it comes down to being in this educational system, or it comes down to being in the world. Because you thinking about grade school all the way up to high school, you got kids that need to be prepared to, when they graduate, they don't know what to do, they don't know like what opportunities are there. And we have been, so structured that these are the things. You go to school, you go to eighth grade, you graduate, go to high school, you graduate, then you're gonna go to college, you graduate. But then you have students who might not want to go to college. What are their resources? What can they do? What are their skills? What can I do once I leave this building that's going to enhance me in my life, or to be an entrepreneur or whatever that is? So um, I think that's just good that you build a community of support in like this circle of one where you have the parents and they come back, because parents do come back. They see it, they see the results, they see the impact. And I've had parents even to this day, kids I've had when they was 13 or 12, and they grown. It's hard for me to accept, because I'm like, oh my God, you grown. I remember when you was, but successful, good jobs, graduated, buying houses, And I'm just like, man, I remember me trying to do a restorative conversation with you and this other person because y'all was into it. And it's like now to see them mature and implementing those skills and whatever those practices that you instilled in their adolescent age. So I think that's really cool. What are some things that you think is needed for social emotional learning, for one, and support to help students that have trauma and triggers?
So I want you to ask me the second part of this question because I want to do step back. I want to talk about social emotional learning for a
Okay.
second. So the struggle is this is that there are some great resources out there, but it's important for teachers to make sure, right? And I don't want to just say teachers because I don't want to blame teachers, right? Because I was a teacher, I'm still a teacher at heart. It's important for school communities to make sure that those social emotional learning resources are culturally relevant. Right,
Mhm.
like there's a myriad of things that different schools use, but you have to make sure that they're culturally relevant. All right, number two, let's talk about social emotional learning. Adults regulate each other, right? Adults have the ability to regulate each other, and
Mhm.
oftentimes when students are misbehaving and acting out, um, adults find themselves being upset and are frustrated with students, and then they are dysregulated, right? And we have to recognize as adults, we have the responsibility of regulating students, right? And if we talk about safety measures, right? We talk about psychological safety. When we talk about a lot of these different measures, right?
Mhm.
A lot of students don't come to school psychologically safe, right? In their mind, right? And so regulating a student is in social emotional learning is not a one-time thing. Like social emotional learning, it should not just happen when your classroom begins, right? It's not just a 5 to 10 minute lesson. Social emotional learning should be going and weaving throughout the entire class period.
Mhm.
Why? Because the cognitive load that your student is required to carry, as somebody said earlier, beyond comprehension to the analysis and those things, causes your body and causes you to feel triggered. Many of us as adults, we read stuff, we see a bill, and we like, hold on, right? And once we know that once our emotions come in, right, we're no
Mhm.
longer thinking, we're no longer using our frontal lobe, we're no longer using the parts of our brain that causes us, which is the power of information processing, right? And
Mhm.
so many of us as adults we can say that as an adults, like, man, we see something and we just thrown off. It take one kid and we ain't even focused on the lesson no more. Now we can't
Mhm.
even get through this lesson because it was just one kid. So you have to see that in children, right? When you are pushing children academically, when you are pushing children cognitively, it causes fritz. That's why I love Leroy is acting up. He ain't acting up just because it's hard,
Right.
because the work sometimes triggers them. And what you're responsible to do as an educator and as in a community, right? If you build community, I believe that every classroom is a community, right? Every classroom has a right to community. And so if you are in these classrooms and if you are in these communities, how as an educator do you continuously know as you're building your lessons, right? And
Mhm.
it takes for principals to make sure that they are building their teachers to have this capacity. But when you know that your student, you know your babies, and you know when they're gonna get triggered by something, how do you interweave social emotional learning? How do you reward them, or how do you encourage them about their effort when it comes to social emotional learning, right? And so when we think about these things, and when we think about students and their capacity to learn, right? And when we think about we want our students on certain levels to perform cognitively. We have to interweave social emotional learning throughout. Why? Because life will get hard for these babies, and we have to
Mhm.
prepare them for a world that is ruthless and
Mhm.
that has no bearings on their social economic status, who they mama, who they daddy is, or any of that. Right? This world is what it is, and so it is our responsibility in every moment to be able to interwoven this ability to do a check-in on kids, being able to also not hold kids hands but build them throughout the year. As you're building your community, build them with the stamina to be able to go through these things and experience these things, you know what I'm saying, cognitively, and make sure that students are, again, psychologically safe. And what was the
Mhm.
second part you asked me about trauma?
So the
You said
support,
something about trauma and triggers.
yeah, triggers like this. I mean, you kind of touched on it, but just having the support when it comes down to kids that have like past trauma or current trauma and um things that like that trigger them. But you touched on it in some of the stuff you
No, no,
said.
no. Hold on. I'm an adult, y'all. Look what I'm reading.
What
Look what
inside
I'm
is
reading as an
backwards.
adult, right? And so, what it took me in my learning to
Uh,
realize is that
uh,
your trauma, your stress, is a very big part of the nervous system. And
mm,
that most of us live our lives through our nervous system. And I think that we have not caught up with that in present education, that a lot of our nervous systems are out of their whack because of what we've experienced. If we think about it, right, from 0 to 8 years old, most students' nervous systems and the way that they process the world and the way that their perspectives and the way that they see the world and the way that they will get along and the way that they will process things and experience things is built from 0 to 8. So in most instances, a lot of these children are seeing things, or a lot of these children are experiencing things, or behaviors are reinforced, or patterns are created from when they were born. That's another conversation from another day, right? But some patterns you're just born with, right? Some
mhm.
behaviors, some things you're born with. Like that's just what it is. And so a lot of us don't recognize those things. And so I think it's a very good approach for us when we're looking at trauma and we're looking at triggers and we're helping kids, is to help them to soothe their nervous systems,
Yeah.
right? I'm 39 and I'm reading this book because I got some stuff that is processing, right? When you think about triggers, right? Trigger is somebody just simply tapping where your trauma was and where it ain't had no healing at, right? And so if
Hmm.
you ain't healed, if you ain't worked through some things, if there's some things that are prevalent, and most of our babies who show up in these classrooms who may have food insecurity, who ain't ate last night, whose brain ain't processing and developing because they're not getting 10 hours of sleep, they're
Right.
not getting the right nutrients to develop their brain. And so when you think about all of these brain when you think about all of these things that is important for child development, really development, like the size of their brain and all those things, like some of our babies are just not experiencing those things. And so what's important is that when you're thinking about trauma and when you're thinking about triggers and when you're thinking about stress, our kids are stressed out. They
Yeah.
they come to school learning they got to go home to you. Some of y'all parents, as Nicole was saying. So, yeah, man, I think that it's important that we have to step back and take a lens, right? Which means that this system needs to build more support for some of these students to be able to psychologically, emotionally, in so many ways process what they are experiencing. Because I had to go to therapy to learn about my vagus nervous system, my somatic processes that causes me to be triggered. And to be honest with you, a lot of us set up these goals. The last thing I'll say on this point, a lot of us set up goals and visions, right? And we say we're going to do it, right? But when we think about life, right, we don't do stuff because we say we're going to do it. We do it based off of how we feel. And if you think
Hmm.
about it, how much stuff you did when you was mad at somebody, what did you do? Right. And so it's really about your feelings and how do you process those feelings. And so, I ain't trying to shamelessly plug this book, but what I'm saying is that, like, me at 39 have to do some of these things that some of these
Yeah.
kids are expected to do at 8, 9, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah. And it's just crazy because that all that plays into development of a person and an individual. So all these um childhood traumas, they spill over to adulthood, and so that's gonna be a segment probably next week or the week after. But we're gonna be dealing with like mental health and physical wellness, um because those are things that we need even just in our community as African American people. We kind of don't really look at the mental state and the emotional state as important of needing healing. The same way we go to the doctor when we have symptoms physically, we need our mind and our those nervous the nervous system that is triggered by our traumas. It needs some healing. It needs some type of um, mental medicated, cation for it. You know what I mean? But it kind of goes into my last point I want to bring in. I feel like this is kind of perfect. So with us being black men working in education, and we've been seeing a lot of this. It's a lot, a couple of things that this kind of go into. We kind of fall in this era, and we kind of joke about it like different people. We joke about it, I think, as a community, but the YN movement, right? Um, we're getting into a movement where you have kids that's in fifth grade, fourth grade, calling themselves YNs, right? And but they take on this mentality um where they're lacking just basic character skills, and it's like this mentality of just chaos. They're tearing up cars and disrespecting just their elders or going outside doing just crazy stuff in the middle of the street, just you know, putting themselves in danger where they don't really look at themselves as um like they're not what's the word? Like they're unstoppable. Like a car can't hit you, or like, what I'm saying, putting yourself in dangerous circumstances. So what is your perspective when it comes down to the YN movement? And I joke about it all the time. I be like, let's act like YNs. But it's like when you really think about it, it's kind of creating this image for our young black kings or princes that's supposed to be kings. And it's like now you get to a point, you go to a gas station, you don't know what they might do because you're scared. They might, because they're doing crazy stuff, you seeing it on the news and everything. So like I just feel like as just black men, like what is needed to kind of get them back. I've been seeing some people doing different things, and they doing like this teen call and different things, but it seemed like it just became more prevalent, like this mentality they're taking on this generation. What's your outlook on this, and especially all this brutality we having going on with police, all this racial stuff? It's just like, man, they need to wake up, because we literally have to fight even harder as black men. So what's your viewpoint when it come down to that? So I'm calling it
I
the
think
YN movement with this racial movement.
I think it kind of I think that the most important piece that we must consider is that this is nothing new, right? Um, though it has grown in its prevalence and its visual and it's a name on it, it was nothing new because in the 90s, I got jumped by the foes just because I was walking through the neighborhood with blue and black on, right?
Mhm.
Um, I ain't gonna lie to you. At one point, I wanted some more money, and I felt my mama wasn't giving me enough money, so I asked one of the little dudes on the corner, man, can I start selling for you?
Mhm.
Right? And so what he said to me was, I'm not doing that. You play football, you play basketball, and your mama will kill me.
Mm.
Swear on everything I love, right? And so there were those people in the community who, as Miss Palmer and Williams Palmer is saying, it's positive role models. And even though the people weren't positive, they were selling drugs, they wasn't letting you go, they wasn't letting you do that dumb stuff, right?
Mhm.
You had, I can remember my teachers. There were teachers who set me straight, who
Mm.
would not let me. And if we could wrap this back up to the education, right? We had teachers that was on, I'm sorry, please forgive me for cussing, on my ass, right?
Like good.
I could think about the teachers that was on me. I could think about the different role models. Like my dad wasn't there all the time, but my mom's friends who was like, Nick, you can do it, who would show up to my games, right?
Mhm.
There were a myriad of community There was community. Let's go back to what we started this premise. There was
Yeah.
community and people held you accountable. My mother didn't just have to do it. When I went to play football, my football coaches was on me, right? There was the discipline that I got from that. And what we're gathering from this YN movement is that they are looking for something to belong. They're looking for some place to belong.
Hmm.
We did, everybody on this call, everybody in the comments, at some point looked for somewhere to belong. But they have found with social media now, right? And with all of these other gimmicks of this mentality, right? They found this ability to really capture kids and make it attractive. And it's attractive because they see their friends and they see people in their classroom. And a
Hmm.
lot of these dudes, we'll call them, or we call them back in the day, you're a goofy. Like you were just doing stuff because somebody else did it.
Hmm.
And like this ain't even you. This ain't even your character. This ain't even who you are. Like your mama knew you was acting like that, and we got plenty of them in the schools in these days. But I say all that to say, I just want to go with what Miss Palmer is saying, right? Like, man, like you have to have those support systems in place, those communities in place, and we just need to wrap our arm. Every time I see a little young black boy, I speak to them, shiesty mask or not, right?
Hmm.
Because I want him to know that I'm a black man and it ain't got nothing to do. I ain't afraid of you, but I speak to you. How you doing,
Hmm.
young man? Man, how you doing? How's your day going? What school you go to? What grade you in? I'm always intentional about having these conversations because I want him to know that even if he don't remember nothing else about his day, somebody cares enough to ask me who I am,
Yeah.
right? And maybe I may be the one that he might be on his way to a bad decision, but because I asked him and I cared enough for
Hmm.
him, I was strategic enough to say something that may have detoured him from away from his decision. So I think that again, a lot of these people, a lot of children are looking to belong. That's why the baddies, they're watching the baddies. Can I get my ones? You want to throw them four? Let's do them 30s. Like that's the language that our kids are saying, but they can't
Yeah.
read. But they talking about let's do them 30s. Let me get my one. You can fight, but you can't read,
Right.
right? So, like I said, I think that at the end of the day, the structure of society and the culture, and if you look at it, man, it's an attack on our culture. It's
Yeah.
always been, but now it's even more prevalent as we're continuously growing and getting older. It seems that more and more children are not being parented or they are not having community. I don't want to leave it to the parents because some parents are trying and working their butts off, as Miss Brown, as Nicole was saying, but some children just don't have communities and they
Yeah.
don't have communities that can stand on. They don't have places to go. So they find themselves going to teen takeovers, and some of them found themselves dead just showing up to a teen takeover, and
Yeah.
they're getting shot. 7 people getting shot after a teen takeover.
Yeah. I like the fact that um you're pulling on community and you're also pulling on your authority as an adult, as a black man, that basically saying I'm not scared to mentor you, I'm not scared to show community to you, I'm not scared to encourage you. So like that's something that we have to, even as an adults, as educators, we got to remove the fear part, because I get it, people do stupid stuff, but you gotta remove fear and operate in power and operate in confidence in who you are when it comes down to your purpose and working with this generation or working with young people. I've encountered quite a few kids at the gas station. Don't know what they got going on, you know what I'm saying? But like again, something as simple as speaking, now like, oh, what's up, man? And you walk in, but then they ask for, like, not asking for no money, but can you give me some chips? Can you give me something to drink? Stuff like that pull on my heart, because it's like, hey, get you a juice, get you something else. I probably don't even have. I probably got $10 to get them, but that's more than enough for to get them some chips at the gas station, some a candy bar, and they got the little fantasy juice. It's $1. I've been tearing them up, um, but little stuff like that, though, that goes a long way. You know what I mean? Like, I buy you something to eat, but I ain't finna, I ain't got no cash to give you because you don't know what they gonna do. But I'll, what you want, a piece of pup? Like, just really showing that they care because they don't have it. You don't know what their upbringing is. You don't know what their circumstance is. And again, that those encounters, taking advantage of it, because you never know when that encounter that you have with any kid outside on the street, inside the classroom, you never know what that encounter, how it's impacting them in a different type of circumstance.
I
you
want
know,
to kind of, and I kind of want to tie together what Mr. Bradley is saying too, right? Kind of
yeah,
like to really close my point, right? And he's right. Like a lot of children, man, it's adults out here that lack identity.
absolutely.
Like a lot of principals. I know principals that ain't got it together. Hell, I'm a work in progress, right?
Hmm.
I'm still working working those details out. I just left a season of my life where I'm like, oh man, Lord, that ain't who I am. That ain't what I was called to be. I'm doing something that right. So all of us are the journey of life is
For
all about
sure.
identity. And it's kind of what Mr. Bradley is saying, like, right? A lot of children don't have a clue of who they are. And so
Yeah.
I have a black son and I affirm him all the time, right?
Hmm.
Think about those children who don't have their father in their life or does have a strong mother, but who's not able to affirm them because they don't know better because they was never affirmed. I was never
Hmm.
affirmed, but I affirmed my little black boy that you ain't
Hmm.
got to fall to the grips of anything, right? And so, as Mr. Bradley said, that identity is arm's length. Now, check this out. What we must do is carry that same identity in educating our children, right?
Hmm.
Because no child is the same. When you as a school community look to educate every child with the same ideals of identity, you mess up. Every student learns different. Every student, if you look at it, just as God has uniquely designed us by our fingerprints, your fingerprint in education and what these children need are very much important.
Hmm.
And guess what? These communities have a short span and understanding, an arm's length understanding of who our children really are. And
Yeah.
so when you can really affect the identity and as Mr. Bradley said, the exposure to higher ideals, right, and ideologies and perspectives, that's when you can really shape. Because again, all they know is a young nigga, a YN. All a YN gonna do is wear a mask, and he gonna do what? He gonna be mischievous, and he gonna get in some trouble. He
Right.
don't have a care. He gonna do what he do. So again, like that factoring of identity in which we need the communities to be reflective enough to say, in the midst of this community, in the midst of the reflection, we have to be accountable and we have to just go back to those principles of loving and being those villages that raise children.
That was very good. So y'all, we getting close. We actually at the end. I really hope y'all really enjoyed this live today. Please tune in every Thursday at 9 p.m. But let's give a shout out to my guest, my friend, my brother Nick. Please shout him out. He's been getting some nice kudos. Shout out again to Nicole. It was great having y'all on. I'm gonna have a different guest every week. We're just gonna have some good conversation. It's gonna be really, really good. So I hope to see more people on this live. Share it, tell everybody. I'm gonna have more flyers. Follow my page at Denton Arnell. That way you will see my guest pages. I tag them as well. Follow them. Let's get those followers up. Share this live. People need to hear this. People need to see this. And the goal for this is just to not only entertain, because there's gonna be some entertainment with these lives, but to impact and educate us as well. You know, that's something that we need. We need a community even in this environment as well. This so tune in next week. Um Also, I gotta do an announcement. Those who are singers, musicians, directors, look on my page. Yeah, right. You need to do this, Nick. Calling all you all out. Please register for the Chicago Summer Choir. The link is on my page. It's on all my socials, so you'll be able to find it. Please sign up. It's gonna be great. It's a once a year thing we're doing every year. Chicago Summer Choir does all genres of music, so it's not restricted to just one style of music. So it's gonna be pretty good. So look out for the details on that. Tune in on Mondays, every Monday for the next 4 or 5 weeks. Along with this live on Thursdays, I will be posting music content on Mondays. For those who missed it, this past Monday, go on my page. I did a Michael Jackson mashup. So check it out when you get a chance. Please like and share. It was great tuning in to this podcast slash live. Let's talk about it then. That's my nickname, y'all. I got it from my aunt, rest her soul. She gave me that nickname, so I'm like, you know what? That means something dear to me. So I put it to life, man. So So let's talk about it. Then will be live every Thursday at 9 p.m. I might have to have you come back, Nick. You was on here preaching and everything, so I might have to add you back for some other topics. But it's gonna be some good stuff. It's gonna be some good stuff. We're gonna get deep. Like, so I hope nobody hey, let's just talk about it. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. We are exiting out of here. Deuces, blessings, peace, hair grease, and all that. Thank you, Nick. They said bring them back. I'm bring them back. All right. Love y'all. Thank you so much.